How you doing? It's Luke, and today it is day number 4. Now, we've had a bit of change of heart again. So last time, if you've been catching up with it, basically I had a 9 to 5 job. What's 9 to 5 job? We've quit that to go full time on YouTube. Now, part of going full time on YouTube is that we need to make another revenue stream. So we have basically sponsored videos, which is the main revenue stream, and we want to have something else, and we want to replace this with a community. Now, originally we weren't going to do Skool, or we were, then we weren't, and now we're going to do Skool again, and I'm going to kind of talk you through why. So, the initial problem I've been having is as I make more videos, right, I start getting this thing where I get like hyped to make more. So I'm like, let me go try this tool, let me try this tool. And they're all AI tools and update videos. And the problem with doing these only is like, well, what happens next? So people will come, some people will stay on the channel, some will go. But in any case, you're just kind of making video by video, and ad revenue is not it. And you don't want to wait for sponsors all the time because then it's properly volatile, and you're behest of them. So instead, I wanted to make some back end, and it was going to be YouTuber systems. And YouTuber systems, I was thinking of like some hybrid NAN plus U, right? And again, I've just drifted even further, and I'll tell you why in a second. So we're going to then maintain sponsors, tools, and updates here, but now we're going to go YouTube systems, and we're mainly going to kind of be tool agnostic. So the new funnel is something like we'll have here. Say this is like AI tools and updates, right? This keeps you informed with what's going on in the AI world right now for me. Now, there's a subset of these which are tools that I would actually use. What did I write them down as? So there's like, I'll not use systems that I'd actually use from these tools. So like, which image generation models are the best, I'm going to go and use those, right? So I have, I've just had another idea. No, the ideas, honestly. So then I have these systems, and of these systems that I have, I'm going to then try to encapsulate the best ones inside of Skool, and possibly all of them, to be fair. And so the idea here then is that the bottom will still be YouTube systems, so the stuff that I use as a YouTuber for my business, but the top level is just everything in AI. And so this can then go on AI Look. This here can go in the YouTube systems Skool. Cool. So we have a new kind of funnel idea, which is basically, instead of YouTuber systems being like NAN workflows, instead it'll be things like, so thumbnail design. So to design a thumbnail, instead of having, just like an NAN workflow, which maybe you want that because you're branding, you're not worried about virality, or it's not that you're not worried about how the thumbnail looks, but that you are happy with some higher degree of standardization across your thumbnails. And I think NAN stuff like that can be good. But for example, my main way of doing thumbnails is using Canva, and then I also then use something like Gemini or Nano Banana. So like Nano Banana is Gemini. So like Gemini or GPT as well to then do the whole thing. So the systems in Skool they won't just be, for example, NAN plus some customizability now. They're going to be like the actual things I do. And what this does is it fixes the problem that we ran into yesterday that I was telling you about, which is like fraudulence. Fraud? I was going to say it's fraud, but then it makes me sound like I'm a fraud or something. But I'm not. But basically this problem of like, if I don't use NAN, then why am I documenting it as something that I would trust and use and do? I do use NAN sometimes, but not as much as I'd like to, mainly for time and stuff. But then if I don't, other people won't. So it becomes this thing of like, what do I actually do? Let's document what I actually do. Because like if you've seen in the other video, it's all about this what if-isms. So like, I feel like people would use this NA10. That's like this kind of what if-isms. Whereas it's like, what was that I said? What are-isms? Don't know. These are some dodgy lookisms. So it's not a what are ism, it's just a what What is, that's a much better one. Let's scroll this out. Can we go to eraser? I'm using my new little pen, which is cool. There we go. Hi. This is well cool. So you get what if isms and what is isms, I suppose. And so the what if isms is like, I could do this in workflow. I could go and learn how to use make.com. What if isms are like, I do use Gemini already. I do use Canva already. So these are things which are proven, if not by the market, by me. So, and I am the market, or a part of the market. Whereas these, even me, part of the market, don't use them. Sure, I know people do, but I really don't often do that. Although I ought to, I think, as well, but I need a solid case for it. Anyway, so we are going to go down this rabbit hole of doing this non-AI, not non-AI, not NA10 only. So we've started this here, as you can see, our YouTuber Systems School, and I've populated it with some stuff. Start here, pre-production, production, post, and growth. So the general idea here, let me just screenshot this and bring it over to Excalibur. To red, that'll do. So it's because the camera's right where the colours are. So we have start here. This will just be something like, how to use Skool. And then it'll also be, I'm thinking like how to use Skool generally, but also like explaining the modules. So essentially explaining the business functions in some way. Or business operations or whatever, of how to be a YouTuber. Pre-production, this is going to be stuff like ideas, stuff like thumbnails as well, titles, etc. Production is going to be like videos, things like that. So this, you can look at like how HeyGen, etc. can create stuff. Because I don't know how I feel about it, but I don't want to not look into it because it's here. It's real, whether you like it or not. Post-production is going to be your editing stuff, it's going to be your descriptions, etc. And then growth, and if you're wondering, pre-production, you're supposed to do thumbnail and title first. This is kind of standard YouTuber knowledge. And then in growth, this is going to be things like emails, there's going to be things like distribution, so like posting to multiple platforms, etc. And then as time goes on, the idea as well would be in here to do stuff about like maybe website building, because I think everyone should have a website. I remember my partner's dad, so my father-in-law, kinda, not nearly, is that he was saying about how everyone should have a website, and I'm like, why? What's the point? And now I get it, because especially when you start having loads of videos and stuff, you need like a holistic place to be like, this is me, this is what I represent, this is what I've done, type of thing. So we do need a website. Speaking of which, we just hit 30k subscribers today, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and another reason for all of this thinking that I'm doing is basically that my I don't want to just completely kill the channel off to then just be about sponsors, because I'm interested in AI and I want to do it. And I like, this pipeline of when people are like, they go on and they make a video. That video is covered in some way on their school, and then people come and buy here. Now this feels kind of easy to me, like a nice easy funnel, which is obviously something then you want to do. You want to do something easy. But I feel like I can have an actual business value. What would be the words? I can have an actual, let me get black ink again. I have a thing which provides value, which is real and honest. So I feel like I can actually talk about it. Because it's kind of the thing, I remember Hormozy talking about how if you don't have a six-pack, no one's going to buy your gym membership. And it's true, people just don't care. So you need to look the part, you need to act the part, you need to be the part, or people won't want to do your thing. And that was the problem I'm having, is like, whoa, I don't have that big of a channel, blah, blah, blah. All of the stuff. But then you realise that actually you're not teaching people how to grow on YouTube per se. That's just a consequence of what you're doing. Because really, and this is what I have written here, is that we help YouTubers save hours by automating the boring stuff. And that's going to be like the, hi, I'm Luke, welcome to YouTuber Systems. Or, hi, I'm Luke, I help YouTubers save hours by automating the boring stuff with really AI workflows. Or, I help YouTubers save hours by automating away the boring stuff. Probably something like that. Just cut it here. And then the bio is the same kind of thing. AI systems that turn YouTube grind into one-click automations. I just read like I was reading a teleprompter. If running a channel is overwhelming, automate the back end and reclaim your time. Can you... oh, my cat's picking the door. Stop it. Pardon me. So, this is the plan going forward. So the next steps, really... stop it. Aye. So the real next steps and questions here are in regards to channels. So we have our AI Look channel, and the next things to do here are just to keep going with the videos, covering the cool tools. Because that's the cool thing with sponsored videos, is I get paid to go and see the cool tools that are out there and actually use them. Because I've encountered it a few times with apps. Like a good example is creating apps, like mobile phone apps. I have no idea how to launch an app. Like I actually don't know. I think I could. I mean, I could roughly figure it out, but I don't know off the top of my head. And that's where it's good. Like I have created a sponsored video, for example, for Rourke, and Rourke or Rourke. Such a hard word to say when you're Scottish. Rourke. See, because Rourke's normally like Rourke or Rourke. I don't know. People are called Rourke anyway, like it's a surname. So anyway, the Rourke is an app builder where it builds a mobile app, and this mobile app you can then put it into the iOS store and Android directly from here, which is brilliant. So then you can just go and vibe code the whole thing there, which is something I've been doing. And the other ones are like website builders and stuff, and they're cool as well. So you find real products and tools that you actually like use and think are cool. And you get paid to do them, which is brilliant. So then the other stuff is that I'll just do it myself, so like Claude co-work. I think that's cool. I want to make a video on that, anti-gravity, etc. So anyway, that will continue there on this channel, and this will be your kind of AI tools and updates channel. Boom. AI tools and updates. Then we have our Skool community, which we'll build in the background. Basically just turning how do I run this channel as well as now this daily channel, because I want to fully automate this daily channel such that literally I make this loom, and then I want to create a workflow that goes and gets it and uploads it and edits it and stuff. We'll see, but because this is the thing with automation, and trust me, I've automated so much stuff. My job was a cloud engineer / DevOps engineer, and before that I was working in project management, but automating stuff as well, using Excel and that. And you find often is like, you could spend an hour a day doing the task, or you could spend 10 hours to automate it, so that's like 10 days work. And then you could spend, an hour every week making sure it works. So then suddenly it's like you have to weigh up the time. How long do we expect to actually want to run this automation, etc. So anyway, some automations aren't worth it. You're as well going and clicking it. So anyway, Skool, we're going to build this up in the meantime with the systems that we actually use. And then our second channel, so the systems channel, this will then be guided towards, let me do this. This will be guided towards an avatar. So we'll have an avatar. I've called him Peter. And Peter is a real estate agent. And I don't actually have his information yet. But on the other screen, what you can't see is I'm in discussions with Grok to really flesh out this guy so we can have a full solid avatar, which if you don't know what an avatar is, it's basically like a persona you may have heard. I've covered them on like YouTube business stuff, like just from delving into it over the years, but we also covered it at uni when we were working on UI design. So what do they call it? Heuristic evaluation stuff. I don't know. I remember it during that period of my life. And basically, you just have a guy. You give him a job. You be really specific about his age, his wants, his likes, and stuff. So then, for example, when I think of a video idea, I'll need to think, what would Peter watch this video? And that's kind of how you then properly funnel, is from here to here, because this same avatar will be used for school would be like, would Peter use this? And I suppose I could just make it look the AI YouTuber, but whatever. So Peter's a memorable one for me at the moment. So to round this up, day 4, we're going to go back to school. Actually, I didn't even cover, but just to be super brief, we're going back to school. We're not going to go to Circle for a couple of reasons. One, which we talked about yesterday, is that everyone seems to be on Skool. Secondly, is that there is like a community feel on Skool. So like, because it's a community of communities, it feels like you're part of something bigger, whereas with Circle it felt like I'm now isolated and there's no one else on it, it's just me and Think Media. I don't know if they make it, but anyway, they might be interested in this Skool programme sponsoring it in the future. We'll maybe need to move to Circle then. Hey, that'd be a good problem to have. So anyway, so everyone's on Skool communities, and although I'm not fully sold on everything about it, I still feel similar way I felt before. It is really easy to use. Like, it's so easy to use, and I'm just so familiar with it. So I think we're going to go back to Skool just honestly just to get it off the ground. We'll maybe move to Skool in future. We'll see, but I think Skool is a place to go for the meantime. So we're going to go and flesh out this Skool here, fill it with actual systems, and then the whole sell in here then is that you can save time, you know, automate away the boring stuff. And then the reason you would stay, so this is to get you in the door, and then the way that you will stay, I'm loving drawing my wee circles like this. The reason you would stay is because it's continually updated. So we'll just say it evolves, because as new tools come out, I'm gonna, you know, change how I do this kind of stuff, because I want it to be a living, breathing, real thing. So I don't want it to be like, you know, here's every possible way of using AI. You know, it might become that as we get more and more content, because right now we're starting with 0. I mean, you're starting with 0 to 1 is so hard. 1, you know, to 100 is probably just as hard as 0 to 1. So once we get our V1 up, then we have something to work with. But I still want to keep it like this feel of there is a consistency here. There's like a path to follow, because I think that's how we're going to win Skool. I wonder if we'll win the Skool games. Maybe we should make a not a pact. What do they call it? A goal to win Skool games. And what queue is it? So let me see. Let's go to Skool community schoolers. Like, wait till you see how much people are making on this. You're gonna cry. That's the wrong one. What is it? AI Skool, because it has leaderboards on it. No, this is it. What's leaderboards? Games. It's because it's called the Skool games. See, in tech, look at this, man. Look at these mad guys. Last 7 days, MRR growth. So their MRR, look, 100 grand, bro. 100 grand. Man, I'd work for like a year and then never need to work again. You know, that's crazy. Maybe not literally, but, you know, that's crazy stuff. It's actually an interesting thing. As you start making money online, you realise how much you need to actually make, especially when you have a family. Because I remember I'd always see people and they'd be like, you know, win $10,000, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Whereas now I'm like, that'd be a nice start to a deposit for a house. Anyway, so what quarter are we in? So we're in Q1 2026. Let's make a real goal of, let's try to become, so what's the rank here? 20. So let's aim for, in Q, so this is only just started, so we have until the end of March to participate. 100%. Oh, right, you need to be in that one, maybe, I don't know. So 20, let's see if we can be number 20. I think that's a solid goal. Is in March, so that's like in 2 months. So we have, say, probably like 9 weeks, maybe 10 weeks. So say in 9 weeks, can we go from 0 to number 20? Or not 0, I suppose, actually. Let me see which number. It gives you a rating. on Skool. So we go to me, YouTuber systems, settings, to give you a number. Where is it? Metrics, or is it discovery? None. No ranking. Oh, right. So, I mean, I'll go to my normal school and I'll just be worse than that. So, whatever that is, plus 1 or 2. Let's go to settings, discovery, so I won't be on that either. Honestly. Discovery. There we go, right. So, I'm ranked 523, right? So, what we'll say is, let's just assume I'm 524th. So, let's go from 524 to number 20 in 9 weeks. Let's keep an eye on this number. This is going to be our North Star. How do we move up here? So we need to consider price, we need to consider the courses, we need to consider the calls, and then of course we need to consider the funnel in, and then I suppose as well we're doing our retention. That's a nice business acronym. Hey, I have a good acronym for that. Let's rearrange the letters and say that in your head, and it means funnel, courses, calls, retention, and money. Oh, hey, that's probably a better one actually. What if we do it this way? We'll just do 1R, 1C. Boom. MFCRS. This is our North Star. It's oh wait, no, maybe not the dollar at the end. Money, funnel, calls, community, courses, retention. Boom. Right. Anyway, see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.